Welcome again to our next episode of the Dream to Rise podcast. And I'm truly grateful and honored to have a parent here. I really love what she's doing. She's an award-winning best-selling author, motivational speaker, and kindness ambassador for loving parents who want to raise kind children. Today's parents can see how some troubled teens are turning to devastating acts of violence because they see no other way. Consequently, parents want to make sure they are doing everything in their power to raise healthy, happy, and kind children. Through her divinely inspired video messages, blog posts, and fun with bubbles style, she's here to encourage parents to be the CEO of their families, cultivating an atmosphere of fun, happy moments with their children through acts of kindness. When she's not uplifting parents, she volunteers at the Home for Life, enjoys time with her sons, delights in her pets, and likes to go hiking and kayaking. Get ready to change the world. Let's all welcome Teresa Ramirez. Welcome, Teresa.
Well, thank you. Well, it's so nice to be here.
It's an honor to have you here. And I really love the topic because I think we need to create awareness, especially to the parents, no? Because a lot of bad things, I should not say bad or not, um, the things that's happening now to our children, it's making me really sad. A lot of
Mhm.
negative things happening, and it is because as parents we have a big responsibility to take care of, and that's our children. So without okay, let's start with you sharing your story. Can you tell us something about yourself that brought you to where you are right now?
Yes, it actually started with a school shooting back in 2018
Oh,
in Parkland. The shooting was in Parkland, Florida. And I don't know, we've had so many shootings before and since, so I'm not sure why that one kind of triggered, but I actually kind of sat down and said, "Dear students," and I grieved with them and sympathized with them. And then I said, "But let me empower you to take control. You can change things. You don't have to wait for the laws to change. You don't have to wait for school policy to change. You can do something." And then I just kind of sat on it, put it to the side and sat on it for about a year, and then got the nudge to, I need to do something with this. And I started a 21-day kindness challenge on Facebook, going through Students' Day. I was able to go out to a few schools and talk to the kids.
mhm.
And then COVID hit. So I landed in front of the computer like everybody else and found out just how nasty adults were. I was kind of appalled by some of the posts I started to read. And when an adult was reaching out for help and people were judging her and being nasty to her. And I'm thinking, but she asked for help.
Yeah.
Then what's the, so I thought I need to get to the parents. I need to get to the parents. I need them to go and take control of their families and themselves and become CEOs.
Mhm.
Act like a corporation. Determine the philosophies and values you want to instill in your children, and kindness being one of them. So that's kind of how it has all got started. Excuse me. uh, and it's just from there. I've done so much research, and it's just kind of snowballed for me that it is now a lifestyle. I can't, well, I do it. I'm kind without thinking about it. It's as natural as breathing for me. And I hope to help everyone else make it also as natural as breathing.
So, uh, when you were talking to the children, the kids, how are they in terms of, because I'm sure you have mentioned about the shooting incident, no? How are they?
Yes.
What do you think? Do they blame someone? Do they was there some kind of pinpointing? Oh, because of the parents, they did. I don't know
No.
if it's because of the how they raise the children, because
Mhm.
what
Yeah,
happened.
from a child's perspective, they didn't see it that way. They
Okay.
didn't see it that way. They were more of uh actually the few schools I got into, they didn't have a fear at that point that there
Oh.
would be a school shooting, that they truly felt that there was enough support through teachers and principals, that the policies the school had in place were solid, and they didn't really um, have that fear, and they were happy to embrace some of the ideas that I had and share with each other.
Uh-huh. So the so what are the yes, you give do you give talks in schools?
I give both. Well, I did. And when I changed my focus to parents, I now speak to PTAs,
Oh, good.
adult clubs and organizations, in that way, because I do want to get to the parents. I still speak at schools,
Uh-huh.
hands
Uh,
down, but my focus is truly getting to the parents.
so how is it now to the parents? How what what is there like a process that you share with them, like a program or
Yes,
ah,
it
really?
is a process. It is a process, and I try to keep it very simple. And that's the key. This is simple. It doesn't take much.
Mhm,
And I start with all it does is take a smile and hello, and
mhm,
how impactful a
mhm,
smile and hello is.
uh-huh,
And then we go to just send your kids out the door
uh,
on a good note. So you put a sticky note on their mirror. You're awesome. You're smart. So when they go out the door, they know they're loved and appreciated, and they're going to share that.
yes.
And that it's just from there. And then you can go to the pay for the coffee for the person behind you, get the soccer club together and do a food drive. I know in Ohio right now, the food drives or the food pantries are depleted since the holidays. So food drive this time of year is an excellent idea. And you can just organize it with the soccer team, basketball, your PTA, whatever group you've got. You can just bring it in, because then they only need to give one or two cans, and with all that collective, you can give a sizable donation. So it's just those kind of things. And then it can go into how to be kind in those awkward, sticky situations.
Well, that's good. You know what? I'm guilty of not appreciating my children before, because I was raised. I came from the baby boomer generation where,
Mhm.
and okay, you're expected to do this, and
Mhm.
if you get a low mark, that's the time we will punish you, and then tell you that you have to study harder. But when you give them a high grade, oh, how come this is only like 95? Why not 100? So the expectation is so high. And when I
Mhm.
ask my children, do I show appreciation? And immediately they said no. And that,
Oh.
yes, and that really it broke my heart. And then I really had to stop and reflect on things, because my parents are very disciplinarian. Chuck,
Mhm.
chuck, chuck, do this and do that without any questions asked.
Yeah.
So, and I was doing it. I thought that was the normal way. But when I saw my children like distancing themselves, oh, I think there's something wrong. So there was a time that I was doing a pilot study at the bank about showing appreciation. I just asked them, and then they said immediately, they said no. Oh, then I have to make the change. I
Yeah.
know it's hard for parents to make that change. Even
Mhm.
I was sharing this to my mom. She's 88 years old. And it's hard for them to make the change at their age. And they
Yes.
still, like now, I'm being a caregiver to her. How, oh, you're like a military. You need to, I have to follow you. Mom, I got that training from you. Finish your food. Take your medicine, because you really have to take your medicine, because there's a time. But then
Yes.
I feel like I'm no longer a mom. I feel like I'm a child. It's about time that we take care of you. And
Yes. Yes.
that's it. So it's hard for her to realize also, because when she asked me, how come you're not raising your kids the way I raised you? But I have to
Oh.
change. I have to
Mhm.
change.
And it is a mindset. It
Yes.
is a mindset, and you have to be intentional. And and when you're changing your mindset, it takes practice. And
Ye-
you're gonna fall sometimes, but then you just pull yourself back up, give yourself some grace, try again the next time.
Yes. Yes. It's hard, but then it take baby steps, and I'm sure it
Yes.
take
Yes.
you to your goal as well. So,
Yes. Absolutely.
what were the challenges have you encountered doing your doing your purpose, doing your mission here for the parent?
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge is people say, well, I've heard it all before, is one challenge I get. And I said, so are you practicing it?
Uh-huh.
And they just kind of stare at me because they're not. It's
Uh-huh.
clear they're not. And then the one challenge, I was in the store literally yesterday, and I was talking to, there was two sales clerks, and we were talking, and of course I'm spreading the kindness, yakking like I always do. And the one had, their son had been bullied, and so was giving them some tips that I knew that might help,
Mhm.
and tell them, it's going to take practice, going to take a little bit of courage on his end, and see if they can't turn the situation around. And the other clerk said, that sounds nice, but people are just too mean. And I wasn't expecting that. So I kind of did
Uh,
and I said, that's funny you should say that, because there's studies that prove kindness does make a difference. It changes your mind, it changes your brain. So if you and I exchange an act of kindness, or if I exchange it with those two women in the store, all of our serotonin levels will go up. And our serotonin levels are our happy hormones.
mhm.
So from just our exchange, we had three people that are happier than they were before I walked in that store. Now, if anyone else was in the store watching us, their serotonin levels would also go up. So it creates that ripple.
Ripple, exactly.
And yes. And so in my thought, and I told her, I said, think about it. If you're being kind here in your store, and they're being kind in their store, and think about all the stores in this strip mall. They're all being kind in their store. Eventually, those acts of kindness, those ripples are going to merge together and create a wave that washes across the country and around the world. And she didn't have much to say after that. But she was just, I think she was just kind of mulling it over, that okay, there are studies out there that say that this is going to work,
Mhm.
and it does change the mindset. But to get there, you have to practice and be intentional about it.
Right. Absolutely. And when you mention about well, kindness is free, no?
It
So,
is.
so why not share it to other people? And the more you share it, as what you mentioned, the serotonin increases, then you create that positive energy, and that is being transmitted to other people, and they mirror that back to you. So that's
Yeah.
how you create connection as well. And
Yeah.
then, as what you've mentioned, it creates a ripple effect, because they will
Yeah.
do the same thing to other people, the people they meet.
And I want to put your phones down, make the eye to eye personal connection. Because I think in society wise, we're losing that. The phones are great, let me tell you. Not saying that, but it doesn't have to be the end all be all of our existence.
Yes,
You need that. As human beings, we need that personal connection.
exactly. And that's what I value, human connection.
Yes, yes.
I think for me, that's more important rather than, okay, achieve your results or your goals. But then through your human connection, you will be able to go to that, making your goals and your dreams a reality, and you're making more impact as well.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be huge, just simple little things that you run into, holding the door open for somebody. And I want to emphasize, do not underestimate that smile and that hello.
Yes.
And the perfect example I have is that a friend of mine retired, got bored, and went to work in a parking garage. And then he took time off for vacation. When he came back, his regular people were like, where have you been? The last week or two have been horrible. You don't know. Your good morning and your smile starts my day off right. And it usually carries throughout my whole day. Since you've been gone, I have had nothing but bad days. And the guy looked at me and he said, I know you keep saying that a smile and hello goes a long way. He goes, but I didn't understand the impact until someone told me, until they showed it. And I said, so I always want to emphasize that to people, that don't underestimate that hello. Because I found out that sometimes maybe there's people that do not speak to anybody face to face all day long. They're on the computer, they're on their phone, but they're not having that eye-to-eye connection.
Exactly. And I also had an experience wherein I was at the park. I like to walk, no, at the in the park. And then there was a time that I just rested, and there was a lady beside seated on a bench, and I just seated there. And then I just she looked at me. Hello, I told her. Good morning. How are you? And then she said, and then she looked back on her. Oh, sorry. I hope I was not too strong in terms of greeting you. I mean, and then she said, no, I've been wanting to hear that from someone, and I've been going through so much in life with my family and so on. So we had a chat. And I had the opportunity to at least share also my story, that don't worry. I was in that situation as well. I'm sure you'll be able to handle it. So they would just need a listening ear, no?
Yes.
And
yes.
I didn't. I was surprised. She started opening up, and that it just started with that smile and greeting, that hello.
Yeah. You know, I'm a walker too. I've got the walking trail, bike trail, and the park is back here. So I walk my dog often. And usually she's 10 pounds, cuter than Christmas, and everybody wants to pet her.
Yeah.
So some lady came up and said, oh, can I pet your dog? And I said, sure. Well, we were by some steps. She sits down, and of course my dog jumps in her lap. Give me all the attention because I don't get any at home. Right. Not true. And she starts petting my dog. And she said, you know, I lost my husband 6 months ago. Oh, I'm so sorry. And she said, you know, I lost my dog, my beloved pet, 3 weeks ago. You know, I'm just like ready to start, but she just starts, like you said, listening. And that's all I did, and let her pet my dog. And she just kept talking and talking. And I couldn't tell you how long we sat there. But when she was done, she stood up, took a deep breath, wiped the tears away. And she said, you know, I haven't felt this good in months. And I just thought I was just going to let her pet my dog. You know, that's when I'm like, wow. I didn't see that coming.
See the impact of just greeting and smiling.
Yes.
And sometimes
absolutely.
you might be able to save a life as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wondered that with her,
Yes, same.
especially, I'm a dog lover, obviously, and losing your spouse is one thing, but then a pet on top of that, I just thought, gosh, her grief was deep.
Yes, I know. And see, I'm just so touched with all those stories and the impact you're making with a free item, and that's the smile. So why not share? Don't keep
Yes.
it to yourself. Share it. So this
Yes.
could so you'll see peace, compassion, love, kindness being spread
Yes.
around here on earth, and no
Yes.
more.
Yes.
With
Hmm.
our own little small ways, we are able to promote peace here, uh,
Hmm.
avoid hatred, avoid what's this differences, and
Yes. The
all
anger,
anger and hate. Oh my.
it needs to put it aside. Put it
Yes.
aside. Focus on the kindness. Look for the good. Look for the kindness. Be intentional. It all comes back to being intentional and practicing that.
Mhm.
And it's easy. It is so easy to get sucked up into the anger and the argument. And I laugh. W.C. Fields, of all people, had a quote: just because you're invited to an argument doesn't mean you have to attend.
Mhm.
And I thought, that's pretty profound, because I'm thinking, how many times have I or you been sucked up into an argument and you didn't even realize it? And you're like, all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you're yelling and the voices are getting louder, and then the anger. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I
And
don't have to do this.
now you shared about arguments. Now it
Hmm.
brought to my attention the responsibility of parents to the children. Argue in
Hmm.
front of the children, right? And that's
Right.
that could
Not good.
yeah. Yes, I
Yeah.
so as parents, let us just be careful on how we
Hmm.
communicate also with our spouses. And if
Yes.
we could do it privately, the better.
Hmm.
Okay?
And if you and your spouse are having trouble and you need it, go get help
Ye-
sooner rather than later.
yes, yes. Don't wait for that time we're in. Oh, it's you won't
Yeah,
be able to solve the problem anymore. And because there's
right.
already resentment, there's anger, there's hate, the more and you know, most of the
Yeah,
time it's pride and ego that
yeah. The ego needs to go.
yes, exactly. But what but I forgot that
Okay, that's okay.
that's okay. Okay.
That's
That's
okay.
the quote about ego. Anyway, so what I love what you're doing, and what are your goals now for the next 12 months? Oh,
My goals are to continue to get out in front of people personally, get out into front of those PTAs and those parenting groups, clubs, organizations, to get out there in person. And because I will travel across the United States to be there, just because I feel it's that important to spread the message. And I think it's even more impactful when you're there in person. And I do have a conference that I was invited to be a part of coming up March 1st, and it's called Stop Bullying in Schools.
uh,
And as an online conference. And if you've got a chance, join us on March 1st. Those are the kind of things I want to continue to connect with other people, like-minded people, other people that are just trying to spread the kindness as well, and trying, because I know that we can change the world, even if it's one ripple of kindness at a time.
yes, wonderful. So what do you think would be your major roadblock to achieve these goals?
Just getting to the right people. It
Mhm.
is just getting to the right parent group, to the right other affiliates.
Uh-huh. So you'll be
Yeah.
focusing, or your target would be schools for PT.
Schools and parents.
Yes, very good.
Yes.
So before we end, what would be your last advice to our listeners?
This one, and I give it a lot, but personal pain is as unique as a fingerprint. You never know what someone is going through. So always, always be kind.
Very good. I love that. And there, nothing, I mean, when you spread kindness, I don't think there's nothing wrong will
No,
happen.
no.
Everything fall into its proper places, and you'll be spreading more love and compassion to all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for this wonderful chat. And I'm sure a lot of our parents would be were able to get a lot of positive insights, value in what you have shared. Again, spread kindness, just smile. And it makes you younger, right?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thank you. And to our listeners, till our next episode. Goodbye. And I'll see you again in the next time. Bye.